What's going on, everybody? It's that time of week again, man. Another episode of Falls Count Anywhere. We got an action-packed episode this week, so I'm not going to delay. Let's get right into it. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Falls Count Anywhere. This is my weekly recap of the wild world of professional wrestling, and it was indeed a wild week this week. We're going to start outside of WWE because there's a lot going on. We first have to jump over into TNA. There has been several top stars that have left the TNA locker room. Drew Galloway, Matt, Jeff, and Reby Hardy, Mike Bennett, and Maria Kanellis are all ghosts. They're all gone. Everybody's leaving. This is in the midst of new contract negotiations. The company that purchased TNA, Anthem, is allegedly playing hardball with a lot of the acts in order to get them to either re-sign or they are releasing them from their contract. It looks like they may be moving towards a more youthful roster, a more youthful locker room, but that remains to be seen. But man, those are some big names. Drew Galloway has been in the main event since he got to TNA, pretty much the main event scene. The Hardys have been part of the most entertaining portion of TNA, their expedition of gold. This has been one of the reasons I've been watching, at least, man. They've been super entertaining. Even Mike Bennett and Maria Kanellis, that's a huge loss, man. Maria was the highlight of their Knockouts division. Great heel. And Mike Bennett, of course, he was brought on board to become this main event star, and now none of those people are there. So the question that needs to be answered is, where do they go next? What's next for these people? My assumption, you may see half and half end up in WWE, and you may see the other half end up in either Ring of Honor or New Japan. Ring of Honor and New Japan both have been trying to bolster their rosters, and it would make perfect sense, especially for New Japan, to go after all of these free agents because, man, WWE needs some serious competition. Right now, they are monopolizing the game. You have the small independent scene, you know, your PWG, your Evolves, even Ring of Honor still. And WWE seems to be just kind of snatching all the big acts from the indies, especially with their incoming UK division, man. And I would love to see more companies give WWE more pressure to step up the quality of their product, and also just so everybody gets a chance to shine. I mean, there's already a ton of wrestling to go around, a ton of wrestling to watch, but I don't want it to be all WWE all the time. So hopefully we get to see, especially in the case of the Hardys, I hope to get to see them in something like Ring of Honor, where they'll get to continue to be as creative as possible. I would love to see more competition just in the realm of professional wrestling in general. All right, let's head over into the world of WWE. We have a action-packed Monday Night Raw. It started off with Goldberg coming down to the ring, kind of amping the crowd up. Kevin Owens cut a hell of a promo, and I am really starting to buy into this match. Any other time, I would kind of be uneasy about the match. It would be easily conceivable that Goldberg would be going over really easily. But Kevin Owens has done a fantastic job of making me buy into and believe that he could possibly win this match. So I'm excited for that match this Sunday at Fastlane. We're going to swing over into another promo that happened this Monday, and that was a promo from Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins came to the ring hobbled. He was in a knee brace and on a crutch. And I don't know how much of this injury is real because there's been several conflicting reports that he's okay. There's several reports saying that he's not okay, and it may truly be a game time decision as to whether or not he's on the Wrestlemania card. The promo this week on Raw, kind of did his job. It sold a program between Triple H and Seth Rollins, and it looks like we may even have to wait a little while longer before we see Seth Rollins and Triple H in the ring. What I mean by that is there's a big roadblock in the way in the form of Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe seems to be Triple H's heater right now, his right-hand man, and I'm assuming before Seth Rollins gets to Triple H, he's going to have to go through Samoa Joe. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Rollins versus Samoa Joe unsanctioned match at WrestleMania, a la SummerSlam 2002 when Shawn Michaels came back from injury and Triple H and Shawn Michaels had that unsanctioned match, which is a great match. We should check it out. We are entering week number 3 of insane beatdowns to Roman Reigns at the hands of Braun Strowman. Braun has been proving week in and week out that he does belong in the main event scene on Monday Night Raw. And I'm really, really glad to see that, you know, they're kind of diversifying that main event scene, because beforehand it was pretty much just Owens, Rollins, and Reigns. Now we get to see Braun Strowman join that mix, and I'm excited to see what's going to come of this. If I was a betting man, I would assume that we're going to see Braun Strowman either win or have a pretty decent singles titles run before we hit SummerSlam. And it's well deserved. I mean, the dude has been impressive, and as a big man, he's got moves. He's got moves. Braun has got the moves. Braun Strowman, man, is a beast. That's all I can say. I enjoy watching his matches. I enjoyed the kip up when he wrestled Big Show last week on Raw. And this week, I enjoyed seeing him destroy Roman Reigns again. He's being built as the next big monster heel for WWE. And it's about time. It's about time that we have one. We've been missing one. There hasn't been somebody in terms of a heel this dominant since Mark Henry in his Hall of Pain days. So kudos to Braun, and hopefully this is just the start of something really, really big for him on Monday Night Raw. We're going to jump over to SmackDown right now. The show kicked off with an episode of Miz TV. The special guest was John Cena, of course. The segment started off with the Miz cutting Cena's mic and kind of unloading on him. It was kind of an attempt at a pipe bomb-esque promo by The Miz. And I mean, The Miz lately has been money on the mic. The Miz is fantastic on the mic, and I'm very interested and intrigued to see where they take his character going forward. But you gotta remember, man, Cena is no spring chicken either. And after The Miz unloaded on Cena for a good 8-9 minutes, Cena comes back and pretty much destroys The Miz's argument, going so far as to say that, you know, the Miz is a wannabe. So he kind of tugged at The Miz's tendency to take on other people's characteristics. Now, the segment took an interesting turn, though, when Cena got ready to leave the ring and Maurice grabbed him and ended up slapping him in the face. That led to Nikki Bella coming out and also, in turn, pretty much cementing the match that I predicted was going to happen at WrestleMania last week on Falls Count Anywhere, which is going to be Cena and Nikki versus Miz and Maurice, a intergender tag team match, which I'm kind of looking forward to that. AJ Styles and Luke Harper did battle for the number 1 contendership for the WWE title on SmackDown. Once again, man, AJ Styles had a fantastic match, and it was with Luke Harper this time, which I've been saying for a while, man. Luke can go. Luke is a beast in the ring. And we got to see that with AJ Styles, who, and the announcers, the broadcasters even said, AJ Styles is putting on 4- and 5-star matches left and right. And this Tuesday on SmackDown was no exception. Start to finish, the match was great. AJ Styles ended up coming up with the win after there was a little bit of miscommunication. Shane had actually come down to restart the match because Luke Harper had actually gotten his foot up on the ropes, and the match restarted. AJ Styles is outside of the ring arguing with Shane McMahon. Luke Harper comes in for the super kick, but AJ kind of dodges to the side. Harper ends up hitting Shane. They gave AJ Styles just enough time to roll Harper back into the ring, hit him with the 450 springboard splash. game over. AJ Styles is your number one contender for the WWE World Heavyweight Champion at WrestleMania. Or is he? To close out SmackDown, we got to see Bray Wyatt in the ring. He's cutting a promo about, facing AJ Styles at WrestleMania. And then we cut to the Jumbotron, the Titantron. And Randy Orton is at a Wyatt compound and in Sister Abigail's resting place, as you will. And he ends up saying that he's no longer going to be servant to Bray Wyatt. And he burns the compound down. He set it on fire. And in the process, burning Sister Abigail, which that's a pretty big heel move, don't you think? Randy Orton's supposed to be the good guy in all this. And yet he's burning up this dude's dead sister? Not cool, Randy. Not cool. So, Randy burns down the compound. Bray Wyatt throws a fit in ring. And in the process, Randy declares that he's coming for Bray Wyatt and his title at WrestleMania, which kind of throws a wrench into AJ Styles' plan. Here's my thinking on this. I think that it will indeed be Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton for the title at WrestleMania. And as has been rumored in the dirt sheets for a little while, we may end up seeing AJ Styles versus Shane McMahon. The seeds have been planted for a little while now, and this is the perfect inkling for that rivalry to begin to build towards WrestleMania. All Shane has to do is say, hey, Randy Orton rightfully won the Rumble, and he has a shot at the title at WrestleMania, and Styles is just going to have to wait. That'll send Styles over the edge, and he'll end up facing Shane. If that happens, I think it would be, honestly, a waste of AJ Styles at WrestleMania, especially considering the 2016 that this man had. I mean, from start to finish, he put on some of the most impressive matches in WWE. So I wouldn't want to see him facing Shane McMahon at WrestleMania. I think he would be much better used in the main event for the title. And even if Bray Wyatt wins, it would be cool to see him involved in some capacity. Maybe a triple threat match even. Who knows? Alright, dudes, so Fastlane is this Sunday, and I got some predictions for you. There's the card is stacked. Tons of matches on this card, and they're all pretty decent too. So I'm going to run down my predictions super duper quick, and then you can let me know what you think in the comments down below. Fastlane is going to be Monday Night Raw's final pay-per-view before WrestleMania, so we'll see some feuds come to an end, and we'll start to see new feuds begin to be built. You're going to see a Cruiserweight tag team match on the kickoff show, which is going to have Noam Dar and D. Brian Kendrick facing off against Kira Tozawa and Rich Swann. Brian Kendrick and Tozawa have been involved with each other over the last 2 to 3 weeks of Monday Night Raw programming, so it makes sense for them to be in a match. But Rich Swann and Noam Dar have been kind of floating around in obscurity, and I think this is just going to be a throwaway match just to showcase the cruiserweights, and it's on the kickoff show. So I'm expecting the faces to go over. So expect to see Rich Swann and Akira Tozawa come away with a win. Sami Zayn and Samoa Joe have been building for a little while now, and I expect their rivalry to come to a head at Fastlane. Samoa Joe has a ton of momentum behind him, man, and I don't expect to see Sami Zayn win this one, especially considering Sami Zayn has pretty much won nothing of importance since his debut on the main roster. Joe has got a ton of steam. He's headed towards a rivalry with Rollins one way or another, so I'm giving this one to Samoa Joe. Sasha Banks versus Nia Jax is another one that's been kind of building over the weeks. Sasha Banks is teasing slowly but surely a heel turn against Bayley. There's only so long that her and Bayley are going to be best buds before jealousy rears its ugly head. I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon, though. I do expect Nia Jax to be thrown into the women's title picture fairly imminently, and because of that, Nia Jax is going to walk away with the victory at Fastlane, and she's going to start building towards some sort of multi-woman match for the Raw Women's title at WrestleMania. Neville, the Cruiserweight Champion, the King of Cruiserweights, is taking on Jack Gallagher, the British gentleman. in a match for the Cruiserweight Championship, of course. And I think that Neville is going to win this one fairly easily. That's it. I'm not going to waste much time on this match. Neville's a champ. He's a good champ. Great heel champ. Gallagher is a great challenger. But I don't think he has enough to dethrone the king of cruiserweights. So, Neville for the win. The match that I am most excited for on this card, Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman. I have loved the build up to this match. It is going to be a fantastic bust match. And I think in the end, it makes perfect sense for Braun Strowman to go over. But oh my God, I feel like the powers that be within WWE are going to allow Roman Reigns to win this one. My heart of hearts, I want to be wrong. I really, really want to be wrong about this, but I think we're going to see Roman Reigns acquire a frustratingly Roman Reigns-esque win over Braun Strowman this Sunday. Gallows and Anderson are going against Enzo and Cass for the tag titles. Gallows and Anderson are among my favorite tag team right now in WWE. They're entertaining, but they can also be those strong brutes, bad guys. And honestly, man, they haven't had much time to build their tag team title reign. So I think that we'll see Enzo and Cass put up a very, very good fight, a big challenge for the tag team titles. But in the end, Gallows and Anderson are going to come out on top, probably because of something that Enzo does. And I think we're going to see a little tease of a split between Enzo and Cass going forward. Charlotte versus Bayley for the women's title. What more needs to be said about this match other than it is not a match for the women's title on Monday Night Raw. Therefore, Charlotte will more than likely win. WWE is keeping her pay-per-view win streak intact, and that will not change anytime before WrestleMania. Believe that. Charlotte is winning at Fastlane. She's going to be a 6-time or whatever women's champion, and she'll go into WrestleMania, and that will be when her pay-per-view undefeated streak gets broken. The main event of the night, Kevin Owens versus Goldberg. Every single iota, every piece of the wrestling fan inside of me wants Kevin Owens to win this match, and I want Kevin Owens to go into WrestleMania as the champ, and I want Kevin Owens and Bray Wyatt both to be the champ going into WrestleMania, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think Goldberg, while it may be longer than your typical Goldberg affair, and this may be the match that makes Kevin Owens, solidifies him as a legit main event player for Monday Night Raw, I think the stakes are way too big for the Goldberg and Brock Lesnar match at WrestleMania for it to not have the Universal title, especially considering that Brock Lesnar is going to be wrestling more dates for the WWE coming up in the near future. For that very reason, I'm going to make this call right now. I think Kevin Owens loses the Universal title, and it's either going to be because of a distraction by Chris Jericho, or Brock Lesnar is going to interfere on Goldberg's behalf, just so that he can not only go on to defeat Goldberg at WrestleMania, but to defeat him for the Universal title. That's what I think. And I'm hoping that when that happens, that sets up the eventual SummerSlam match between Brock and Braun Strowman for the Universal title. But only time will tell. There's a lot of wrestling to be sold and told. So stay tuned for all of that. All right, dudes, that's this week's Falls Count Anywhere. The week in wrestling, and it was a crazy one. Those were my Fastlane predictions. What do you think? You agree? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments down below what you think about what I think about Fastlane. Also, if you like this video, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe. Help us get more eyes and ears on this, man. Help us grow the product. Won't you? Won't you do that? Also, if you're a fan of pro wrestling, if you're a fan of nerdiness in general, make sure you subscribe to this channel, man. I'm always bringing the latest and greatest from all sorts of nerddom. Hop around, check out my Slam Crate unboxings, won't you? Thank you guys so very much for watching. If you want to continue the conversation on Twitter, on Snapchat, on Instagram, however, please feel free to follow me via @RobbieDiesel. On the Twits, on the Snapchats, pretty much any social media. Thank you guys so very much for watching. We'll see you next week.